KNXX, Donaldsonville, and WDGL HD2 Baton Rouge. This hour brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers, LA 21-12681. Offices in Baton Rouge. Now, Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer with you from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studio on a Friday. Hope your Friday is going well. Casey Gaines back in action. Taylor Sharp on the ones and twos. Tons to get to over the next 2 hours as per usual. Working towards the weekend. Saints Falcons on Sunday. Got our NFL tiers list at 1:30. Big time LSU baseball news yesterday, which we'll get to at the end of this hour. Michael Rothstein from ESPN.com covers the Falcons. He'll jump aboard. I want some big picture stuff because I don't think that a ton of people care too much in this state about the Saints and Falcons game as far as this season goes. Sure, Saints want to beat the Falcons. Sure, the Falcons have an outside shot to make the playoffs and win the division. We'll talk with Michael about some big picture stuff over there in the ATL, specifically with Desmond Ridder and Marcus Mariota. LSU and Winthrop will do battle on the hardwood tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. I'll give you my preview in the second hour. Big weekend in SEC basketball. We'll get to that as well. So looking forward to the next 2 hours. We start with LSU football. And I think a lot of people, on its face, you would look at this and say, okay, kind of a rebuild for Brian Kelly. Year one, they got a lot done and had a better outcome than we probably anticipated. And it just goes up from here. Got a young team. That's a huge buzzword that people throw in there. Early in Brian Kelly's time, they'll be more experienced and more mature next year. And I look at it and go, wait a second. Wait a second. Look at the defense. Ali Gay, not going to be here next year. B.J. Ojulari, not going to be here next year. Those are your two bookends on the defensive front. I don't think Jaquelin Roy is going to be here next year. That hasn't been decided. That's my guess. I don't know Jaquelin Roy. Never talked to anyone who knows anything about Jaquelin Roy. My guess is that he won't be here next year. If he's back, great. But that would be 3 of your front 4. Micah Baskerville will not be back. I don't think Jart Bernard Converse is going to be back on the outside. Mekhi Garner's not going to be back on the outside. Colby Richardson's not back on the outside. Joe Fouché, Jay Ward. Those guys played a ton of snaps in the secondary. They're not back. Gay, Ojulari, Roy, Baskerville, Bernard Converse, Garner, Richardson, Fouché, Ward. I just named 9 guys. It's not like you're bringing everybody back. Now, the offense, you're bringing a ton back. But you're not bringing a ton back on defense. So you got to restock the shelves. This weekend is massive for LSU based on the people on campus visiting this weekend. You all know the name Desmond Ricks by now. 5-star corner. I'm hesitant to use the term plug and play when you're talking about football recruits. I think that gets way overused. 5-star plug and play. Not always. It's not always how it works. But based on the numbers that they've got in the secondary right now, better chance than not he's out there pretty quick against Florida State if you get him in the boat. You know Corey Raymond's going hard. You know Nick Saban's going hard. You get the last crack here. He's on campus this weekend. How do you lock him in? Huge, huge weekend for Desmond Ricks. But it's not just Desmond Ricks in the secondary. Isaac Smith is here as well. Isaac Smith, big-time 4-star safety from the state of Mississippi. There are a lot of projections on On3 that have him headed to LSU. In fact, 89% do. But that story has not been written. Mississippi kid, Ole Miss is in the mix. Mississippi State's very much in the mix. They've now got a head coach. By the way, he coaches a little defense. And I know that people here in Baton Rouge and people that listen to this show and you're an LSU fan, you said, we got an offer from Brian Kelly and LSU, and you got one offer from Zach Arnett and Mississippi State. What are we even talking about here? Not that easy for a kid from Fulton, Mississippi. Sometimes staying home is important. But that's a big-time 6'1", 190-pound safety that you could really use. He's the number 4 player in the state of Mississippi, top 200 player national, top 15 safety. Your numbers are anemic back there in the secondary. Desmond Ricks and Isaac Smith are here. They're here with a lot of LSU commitments. Big, big weekend for those two guys as we get very, very close to early signing day. But it's not just the high school ranks. You're also talking about the transfer portal ranks. This is as important a time for that as any. And quite frankly, when you're talking about next year's football team, transfer portal is probably more important than getting high school players. I think for the health of your program, high school players are more important. But it's a 1 year to 1 year thing now. Ask Texas A&M. Now, a lot of people projected this a long time ago, right when they signed. Oh, how many of those guys are going to stay there that long? Well, a lot of that signing class is looking elsewhere. They've got 26 kids in the portal. But it's year to year. So I love bringing in the high school kids. I prefer it. But quite frankly, the transfer portal's every bit as important. And you've got a couple of defensive players here that are in the transfer portal. Braden Swinson, big edge rusher from Oregon. He's been there for 3 years. He's made 35 tackles, 5.5 for loss, 3 sacks, 3 pass breakups, forced a fumble. Look, he's a kid from Georgia. He was a 3-star prospect, but he's a grown man. And that's a guy that I would love to add because I don't know what Quincy Wiggins is. I think it's really good. I don't know. I know this staff likes some of the young edge rushers that they've got. Savion Jones is a guy that you hear a lot, but didn't play a ton this year. Maybe those two guys are studs, but I like to bring in some mature guys with them. And Braden Swinson would be that. You're talking about a guy who is 6'4", 250 pounds. Okay, that'll work for me. You also got Paris Shand, who is in this weekend. He's from Arizona. He is at Arizona. He's from Connecticut. Just finished his second year at Arizona. Started 7 games, had 39 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, 4 sacks. Back 2 years ago, he played in 11 of 12 games, started a couple, had a sack and a half. He's 6'5", 290. I'm all for adding depth across the front line. I think Mekhi Wingo is going to be a star, is a star. He was a third-team All-American this year. I think Mason Smith's got all the makings of being 100% healthy for spring ball and ready to go into the summer program and being a force next year. But you got to bring some more guys along. And this time of year used to be lock in for 30 days on finals, then your 15 practices, and go play a big-time bowl game. It's not anymore. A quarter of your team leaves, half the coaching staff goes elsewhere. You're trying to get an early signing period locked in, and the transfer portal's wide open. So it's a different time in the calendar. And this weekend, it is far more important that LSU makes a huge impression on Desmond Ricks and Isaac Smith and Braden Swinson and Paris Shand and the rest of the crew that's there. And it's this coaching staff. It's the support staff around it. It's the commitments that are coming in on this final weekend to make their push. And then we sit back and wait. Dead period, and then ink hits paper. Right now, my confidence level personally is pretty high with Brian Kelly and this staff. I think they've done an awesome job. And none of these guys that they're in on are from the state of Louisiana. So it's a push to try to get these guys. And the competition is fierce. The 2 Mississippi schools have no interest in Isaac Smith, 1 leaving the state, 2 going to LSU. You're swimming with the Sharks. If I'd asked anybody in Baton Rouge 12 months ago, who are the 2 best defensive back recruiters in college football? You'd have said Corey Raymond and Nick Saban. Well, guess who's texting Desmond Ricks 3 times a day, 10 times a day? Those 2 guys. You get the last crack. Got to have it. Big bodies up front to supplement what you've got. Got to have it. Braden Swinson and Paris Shan, because this defense, as it's currently composed, has no depth and, quite frankly, a bit of a talent issue, especially in the secondary. You fix that in a hurry this weekend. So huge weekend here in Baton Rouge for Brian Kelly and his staff. The guys over at On 3, Shea Dixon, Billy Embody, do just such a great job. They're offering you $1 for the year. I would jump in and grab that because the information that flies through, I had not been on, but they asked me to come on and write some baseball stories for them. I've done that a little bit, and we'll certainly do that in the spring. But I've been paying attention to the message board daily now, and the amount of information they are cranking out is incredible. So would highly recommend looking into that. All right, we still got a lot to do in this first hour. I want to talk a little bit of Saints-Falcons. Certainly going to go through our NFL tiers. We got big baseball commitment to get to, but we do have to solve an issue in the Palmer house first here before we go to break. This will be our Citizens Bank poll question of the day. I get to pick the Christmas movie tonight. So we're going to go to the Citizens Bank poll question of the day, and y'all are just going to have to run with it. I got some options here. Want to go with It's a Wonderful Life. That's going to be one option. I saw it for the first time last year. Really enjoyed it. Might want to run it back. It's been 12 months. Want to go with The Grinch. Love that one. Jim Carrey, great. Going to go with Christmas Vacation, number 4, right there. What else do we want to put on the list? I don't think Polar Express. That was good last year. Enjoyed it. We'll go with Elf as the last one. I think we're gonna. Apparently, my wife has veto power here. Maybe the Citizens Bank poll question will trump that. We'll read it out towards the end of the show and see what's happening in my crib tonight. I'm gonna cook some red beans, and we're gonna watch a Christmas movie. Y'all are gonna get to decide it. So go to Twitter at 1045ESPN and post your pick for our Christmas movie this evening. We'll take a timeout. Come back. Saints and Falcons. I'll give you my thoughts on it next on the Hunt Palmer Show.
Hunt Palmer on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
One of the things I love about betting on the NFL is I'm always finding new players or game props that I like. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook, you can combine those props with other bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout. It's perfect for the games this weekend in the NFL. You can bet on quarterback passing yards, running backs or wide receivers score a touchdown, over/under on the total. Combine them to get your huge payout. It's so easy to use. You can live bet during the game so you see something you like. And the best part, when you win, you get paid instantly. There's no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay. Lock in that bet today at the FanDuel Sportsbook. If you're new to FanDuel, sign up today with the promo code 1045ESPN for your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That is promo code 1045ESPN. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues, non-withdrawable free bets. Expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you're someone who has a gambling problem, what's up? Call 1-877-770-STOP.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
In stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
My dad just really enjoyed his life, and he enjoyed smoking cigars and thought he was invincible. My stepdad quit smoking, and he really felt like he was in the clear. Sorry. I wish they would have been screened annually. It's not just you affect, it's your entire family.
For more information on Ochsner's free smoking cessation program and to see if you qualify for early lung screenings, visit ochsner.org/quit.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana Loyal. Always.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank.
For a special NFL triple header this Saturday. The Vikings host the Colts at noon, then the Browns host the Ravens at 3:30, followed by the Bills and the Dolphins at 7:15 p.m. Then on Sunday, the Jets host the Lions at noon, all on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
So the Saints play again on Sunday. And since all your excitement pouring through your dashboards here, or your laptops or desktops, as it were, it's the 4-9 Saints against the 5-8 Falcons, and it is a rivalry game. And I think that there are some black and gold diehards that just cannot stand the thought of losing to the Falcons. So it's a big week for them. I think the team will play really hard because they're pros and they're putting things on tape, and you're always playing for your job in that league. So while I talked to a couple beat writers on the air this week, and they said, I think it'll be an apathetic crowd. And I don't doubt that. It will not be as keyed up as it was, say, for the opener against Tampa or for some of the primetime games that they've played. Certainly not as high energy as the Bengals game was. There was just a lot of anticipation for that in the state. This won't necessarily have that, but I do think the teams will play hard. And the Falcons, have a better shot than the Saints here over the last month. They certainly would prefer to come in and win this game. I was digging over interesting things to talk about in this game. There's not a ton, but there are some noteworthy things. The Saints are 4-0 when Taysom Hill runs for 50 yards. They're 0-9 when he doesn't. That seems fairly important. 4-0 when he runs for 50, 0-9 when he doesn't. I might want to get him a little bit involved. Especially against the Falcons defense that to this point is 25th in the league against the run. And you get Eric McCoy back. So for the Saints in this game, you've got to find a way to run the ball. We were talking to Luke Johnson yesterday, and he said, look, this Falcons team, they give up 150 yards on the ground every week. And you've just got to find a way to do that. Get behind your center that's back in there. Get Kamara rolling. He's been non-existent for a month almost. So that's huge. And then the Taysom factor as well. Run the football at him. That's what's got to happen. If the Saints were to lose on Sunday, it would be the first double-digit loss season for the New Orleans Saints since 2005. I think we all remember 2005 down here. Not exactly the best circumstance. And of course, Sean Payton comes in. It never happened again. First season, he's gone. You're looking at right between the eyes. Doesn't feel like coincidence. Now, you look at this Falcons team, and Marcus Mariota's been benched. He doesn't want to show up. They put him on IR. That was a crazy story that I can't wait to get some perspective on at the top of hour number 2. But the Falcons are leaking well. They've lost 4 of 5. Mariota hadn't thrown for 200 yards in any of those games. He had thrown 5 interceptions, 5 games. He's not playing good at all, which is why you look to the bullpen here and go, all right, Desmond Ridder, you're up. So by the same token, I'm talking about the Saints having to run the football. Don't you think the Falcons are going to try to help a quarterback making his first start in the NFL by running the ball? And they did that in week 1 in Atlanta against the Saints. Cordarrelle Patterson, 22 carries, 120 yards. He was ripping off runs left and right. And he hadn't done that all year. After that game, the only time he's run for more than 60 yards was against Seattle. We saw the Seattle defense in the Superdome. How'd that look? It's awful. And Cordarrelle Patterson ran for 141. But again, 120 on the Saints in week 1, 141 on Seattle, but never more than 60 in any other game. Stop the run. Make Desmond Ridder sit back there and play an NFL defense for the first time in his life. Wouldn't that make a lot of sense? And then the last thing. This is so brutal for the Saints. Shout out to Kat Terrell, who I worked with at the Reveille and does a great job covering the Saints, for these stats. Stop turning the ball over and maybe get a turnover or two. The Colts finally overtook the Saints for the worst turnover ratio in the league. But New Orleans is still minus 12 on turnovers. That's the worst they've been since 2014. This year, the Saints have 3 interceptions. 3. Let me go through some totals over the years, courtesy of Kat Terrell. How many did they have last year? How many interceptions? Keep in mind, they have 3 this year. Last year, they had 18. In 2020, they had 18. In 2019, they had 13. In 2018, they had 12. In 2017, they had 20 INTs. They have 3. That's almost a statistical improbability. I mean, 3 interceptions. You don't knock a ball up in the air and make a play on it? None of your DBs can jump a route? This is brutal. It's just so hard to fight the uphill battle week after week after week when you're giving the other team short fields or points in the case of Arizona, and you're never getting that. Remember yesterday when I told you that Arizona has lost 12 of the last 13 home games? The only one they won was against the Saints because Dalton threw them 14 points before the half. Like, you're just not going to win in the NFL when you keep turning the ball over and your defense can't force anything. It's just really, really difficult. So, look, rivalry game, figure the intensity level will be pretty good, but they've got to do some things differently. You've got to get the run game going. They haven't. You've got to stop the run. You didn't against Cordarrelle the first time. And you got to win the turnover battle. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, the Falcons are still playing for something. You've heard me, if you listen all week, ask different Saints beat writers or NFL guys like David Hellman. I was like, who's got the brightest future here in the NFC South? Sharif, little bit of a homer, thinks it's the Saints. David Grubb yesterday said he thinks it's the Panthers. There was a little shade headed to the Falcons there. He's a Saints guy. Said, I don't trust the Falcons to be good at all. I'll take the Panthers, even though they don't have a coach or a quarterback. And then we talked with Luke yesterday, and he said he thought it was Atlanta. Nobody trusts what's going on in Tampa. Nobody. And I think for good reason. I turn on ESPN, all I see is, where's Tom Brady going to play next year? Like, he's out of there. They're going to have to wheel him off the field, aren't they? That's a different story. But, like, if you're a Saints fan, knock the Falcons out here. Don't let Desmond Ridder come in his debut and light it up. I was in the Dome. Cost me a survivor pick. Week 1 was the Redskins at the time come in, and RG3 wins a game. First start. Don't let Desmond Ridder in his first start come in the Dome and light it up and beat you. That would be tough. So, no, it's not going to feel the same as a general December game against the Falcons does. Those are, for the last decade, those have been as high intensity as you can have. And the Saints have dominated them, no doubt. We'll see what they can do on Sunday. just again, to reiterate that stat that I gave a little earlier, the Saints are 4-0 when Taysom runs for 50. They're 0-9 when he doesn't. It's not like, yeah, they're a little better when he does and not. No, 4-0, 0-9. Get the run game going. You got Eric McCoy back. You got your offensive line healthy for the first time all year. Hammer the football at the Falcons and win this game. That's what you got to do at this point. Maybe winning the turnover battle might help just a little bit. Hanging out here with you on a Friday. It is the Hunt Palmer Show. Hope your Friday is going very well. Still a ton to get to over the next hour and 30 minutes. We'll talk to you a little bit about LSU baseball commitment, what happened yesterday, and what Jay Johnson is doing in building this program and building these signing classes. Michael Rothstein is from ESPN.com. He covers the Falcons. We'll chat with him coming up at 2 o'clock. LSU Winthrop basketball preview in the second hour as well. Big Saturday, big weekend really in SEC basketball. Get you set up for that. And, of course, we always finish things with Take It or Leave It. I want to remind you, I will be at Rouse's from 3 to 5, Burbank and Lee location, 3 to 5, hanging out, giving out gift cards, talking some sports. We're always right out there in front of Rouse's. It's always a good time. Weather's nice in Baton Rouge today. It's cool. You can't miss me in this ridiculous yellow pullover that I've got on. If you've got the YouTube stream queued up, you can see it is a lot. You can't miss me. We'll be out there in front of the Rouse's, Burbank and Lee. You want to come on by? Got some giveaways to give away, as you would do with giveaways. And I always have a good time. So looking forward to that this weekend and looking forward to the rest of the show. When we come back, I'll set the stage for the NFL weekend because they start obviously on Saturday this week. And I always try in this segment to give you a nugget here or there that you might not know that might be interesting. Run through every single game on the schedule, and it's a big one. The weekend we're getting to crunch time here. Middle of December, teams are jockeying for bye. Teams are jockeying for home field in that first playoff game, divisions, playoff spots. It is going to be a big-time weekend in the NFL. I'll get you ready for it next on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford, check out the inventory. BayouFord.com. Tell you every day. Check out the inventory at BayouFord.com. And you need to check every day because it changes every day. As cars move out, they come off the site, obviously. As inventory rolls in, they upload it right there to the site. And they've got these tabs. You've got a video of each vehicle. You've got all the Carfax on it, all the deals and savings you can score at BayouFord.com. Doesn't matter if you're looking for the F-150, F-250, if you're into trucks. Maybe you're looking for a muscle car, Mustang. They've got the Broncos are hot. They've got great Broncos over there. I love my Explorer. I've been in 3 Explorers in my life. I have loved every minute of it. It's a great SUV. It works great with my guy Myers in the car seat. If you need a little more room, got some more family you need to pack in there, the Expedition is always a great call. Bayou Ford got that inventory right there online. If they don't have what you want, they can customize a vehicle and turn it around in 60 to 90 days. Every single new purchase, a 1,000,000-mile powertrain warranty over there at Bayou Ford. BayouFord.com is the website. Bayou Ford, where they're going to do right by you.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside off the bench, anytime. Hunt and Hill. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on a new 2022 Ford F-150, plus no payments for 90 days and 2.9% APR for 72 months. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Friday's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. The band's back together. The Riot Radio hours finally return. We'll preview Saints, Falcons. Join us 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You're listening to Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, let's get you queued up for the NFL weekend to come. I always enjoy this segment because it's not here to break down X's and O's of every game in the NFL. I'm not here to do that, and that's not what you come here for. But I hit every game and just kind of give you a little bit of a nugget on the game, whether it's a cool, interesting fact, a stat, betting trend, just something that caught my eye. Just go read in the internet, and other people do the research for me. I just relay it to you, and I put them in tiers, starting with Tier 4, which is the worst action of the weekend, up to Tier 1, which is must-see TV. We'll start in Tier 4 today. The Steelers and the Panthers will play. This is a pretty boring game here. Kenny Pickett's been in concussion protocol. A loss for Pittsburgh in this game means their first losing season since 2003. I think we all, as LSU fans, know where we were in 2003, what point of your life you were. I was a sophomore in high school. The last time the Steelers had a losing season, they lose to the Panthers in Charlotte on this weekend. They'll have a losing season for the first time since I was a sophomore in high school. I guess I could have driven then. Well, no, I couldn't drive till January of that year. So since I've been driving cars, Steelers have had winning seasons. Going to be interesting to see. It's going to happen eventually, but we'll see if they can lose to the Panthers. Chiefs are at the Texans. That's one of the best teams in the league against the worst team in the league. Kansas City will win the division when they beat the Texans this weekend. The Texans will inch closer to the number 1 overall pick with a loss. You got to figure they'll go quarterback there. That is just a total mismatch. Although the Texans put a scare to the Cowboys last week, so we shall see. Cardinals are at the Broncos. That's bad football, bad teams. Cardinals have lost 5 of 6, and now Kyler Murray's got a torn ACL, so Colt McCoy will be out there. My thought is, okay, let's look up how much Colt McCoy has made, because I think half the people don't even know he's still in the NFL. He is in the NFL. He's made $28 million in the NFL. Hadn't really done a ton. Started a game here or there, Washington, wherever he may be. Just bounce around. Hold a clipboard, play some golf, $28 million later, plus a fat pension coming. That's a pretty good gig that Colt McCoy's got. Still disappointed he couldn't play in that game in the Rose Bowl, but we'll get past it. That's Tier 4, Steelers, Panthers, Chiefs, Texans, Cardinals, Broncos. Tier 3, the Colts are at the Vikings here. Justin Jefferson is 133 yards away from breaking Randy Moss's single-season Vikings receiving record, which I think is pretty substantial. Look, Minnesota wins the North with a victory, but back to Jets. Whenever I think about the most athletic people I've ever seen, 2 names come to my mind as far as big, fast, strong, jump. Like that is, in terms of athleticism. LeBron James and Randy Moss. They've just looked different than the guys they've been in competition with. Randy Moss was unstoppable. I felt like Dante Culpepper was just dropping back and chucking it as far as he could throw it, and Randy Moss was just running under it. Mooning the Green Bay fans. That was T.O. throwing popcorn. But Randy Moss was unbelievable. So if Jets can pass his single-season receiving yards record in Minnesota, that's really, really impressive. He is 133 yards away. The Eagles are at the Bears. That's the best team in the NFC against the worst team in the NFC. But how about this? First quarterback matchup in 72 years where both quarterbacks have 600-plus rushing yards. First matchup in 72 years since 1950 with Jalen Hurts and Justin Fields. Bears fans still think Justin Fields is a ticket. We'll see. Cowboys are at the Jags. I've got this in Tier 3 as well. This is very difficult to do. Very, very difficult to do. The Jags have lost 20 straight games against the NFC. 20 straight. Longest stretch ever. Cowboys are in the playoffs with a win. Taylor Sharp, how nervous are we going to Jacksonville and playing the Jaguars?
I would say none because they're not that good, but I am concerned. I mean, they play the Eagles next week. They could be looking ahead a little bit.
Yeah.
They struggled with the Texans, so I am a little concerned.
I think that may be founded. After last week with the Texans, you need a 98-yard drive to finish it off, but they got it done. Taylor Sharp, I do have a trivia question that's coming up here in a second, so I meant to tell you during the break so you can think about it, but you're going to be put on the spot with it here shortly. Last one in Tier 3, Patriots are at the Raiders. The last Raiders W against New England was in 2002. The last time the Raiders beat the Patriots was 2002. That is absolutely brutal. That was the game after. It was the meeting after the Tuck game. Was the last time that the Raiders beat the Patriots. Josh Jacobs does lead the NFL in rushing, so can Belichick take that away? We will see in that one. Tier 2, some good football here, or a meaningful football at the very least. The Ravens are at the Browns. A Browns loss means they will have had a losing season in 15 out of 16. Dichotomy of organizations. Steelers hadn't had a losing season since 2003. The Browns will have had a losing season 15 out of 16 if they lose this one. Ravens W means they'll have a 76% chance to win the division. If they were to lose, that would go down to 52%. And, of course, that's relevant for the Cincinnati Bengals, who play the Ravens the last game of the season. The Ravens will hold the tiebreaker, but if the Bengals can get to that last week tied with the Ravens, they can win the division with a win. So we'll see. Lions are at the Jets. Doesn't sound like a Tier 2 matchup, but it is. Both teams are trying like hell to make the playoffs. The Jets have lost 4 of 6. It was announced today that Mike White can't play, so Zach Wilson's going to go. The Lions have won 5 of 6. And if you're a bettor, Lions have covered 6 in a row. Offense is playing well. The defense is a little iffy, but their offense is playing very, very well. So we'll see. Lions at Jets sounds like Tier 4. It's Tier 2. Both teams have playoff aspirations. The Titans are at the Chargers. Here's your trivia question, Taylor Sharp. Derrick Henry's 4 yards shy of 8,000 for his NFL career. Name the 2 active running backs who have 8,000 career rushing yards. 2 active backs with 8,000 rushing yards.
Ooh, active. Okay, so it's got to be somebody kind of old, right?
That would make sense.
It's not. Zeke's one of them.
Zeke is one of them. That's good. That's one.
Oh, man.
On the spot trivia on live radio, not easy.
Who's been in the league a while? All the running backs are young in the league right now.
Yeah, except one who just had a torn meniscus, is not playing anymore the rest of the year.
I can't think of it. I'll go Aaron Jones, shot in the dark.
Mark Ingram is the other with 8. The other one with 8,000 career yards. So Derrick Henry would join those 2 in the 8,000 yard club. Zeke Elliott and Mark Ingram. So we'll see if the Chargers can hold him under 4 yards. I have my doubts. The Giants are at Washington. These teams tied in their first game of the season, Giants and Commanders. The last time Washington tied a team, both regular season meetings, was the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1937. I didn't even know there was an NFL team or a pro football team called the Brooklyn Dodgers. But here we are. In 1938, they played Washington twice and tied them. So that's what we're looking at here. Both New York teams, Giants, Dodgers, whatever. Those were the two. So we'll see if they can decide a winner in the game this weekend. That is Tier 2. We will finally take a look here at Tier 1. This is the must-see TV of the weekend. The Dolphins are at the Bills. The entire narrative around this game all week long has been about the weather. It's going to be awful. The Dolphins have lost 8 straight games when the temp's under 40. It's going to be way under 40 for this one. And I think there are a lot of people probably nationally and say, weather, who cares? Like, you just go out there and play football. I'm just telling you. We know where Tua is from. Not a lot of 40-degree days in Hawaii. We know he played at Alabama. He's now in Miami. We know where most of the people who listen to this show are from. It matters. None of us want to go out there and do anything besides you. I almost said something disrespectful. Besides you wonderful people who like to go sit in duck blinds when it's 28 degrees and raining. God bless you. Not going to be me. But none of us like to go outside when it's that cold and do anything. And when it's snowing and freezing cold, it does affect your performance. And it will affect Tua's performance in the game. Now, Buffalo gets Trey White back for this game. He didn't play in round 1 when the Dolphins won. So we'll see. I like the Bills in this game. The weather's going to matter, quite frankly. I still think it's ridiculous the Bills are going to build a new stadium and they're not going to put a roof on it. Oh, it's Buffalo. It's part of the deal. It's freezing cold. No one wants to go out there. You had to move a game this year. You lost a home game because it snowed too much. We're at the Bucs. The Bengals have won 5 straight. Joe Burrow and Tom Brady each have thrown 9 fourth-quarter touchdown passes this year. That is the most in the NFL. Of course, we know the Bucs are scrapping and clawing and trying to win this atrocious NFC South. Bengals are trying to keep pace with the Ravens. I realize that in terms of record, this is not a Tier 1 game, but it's very relevant for the people who are still watching Joe Burrow around here. It's very relevant for the people who compare Joe Burrow and Tom Brady. And while you're looking at one of Brady's last hurrahs here, if not his last hurrah, they got to win games. And they have not been doing that, and the Bengals are playing as well as anybody. So still don't have quite an update on what things look like. They got Mixon back last week. They got Chase back last week. I'm not sure what Higgins and Boyd's future looks like for this weekend. But the Bengals are playing great. So hopefully they can go and beat the Bucs. Tier 1, Dolphins at Bills, Bengals at Bucs. Tier 2 is Ravens at Browns, Lions at Jets, Titans at Chargers, Giants at Commanders. Tier 3, Colts at Vikings, Eagles at Bears, Cowboys at Jags, and Patriots at Raiders. And then Tier 4, bad football, Steelers at Panthers, Chiefs at Texans, Cardinals at the Broncos. That is your look at the NFL slate this weekend. Some good stuff on Saturday, including Saturday night, and some great stuff on Sunday. So, look, if you're over the black and gold, not really interested in checking the Saints out any further, there's a lot of good stuff to look at here this weekend as the NFL really heats up as we get to the middle of December. I want to throw a little check-in here at my status for my Christmas movie this evening. I'm putting it in the fate of you, the loyal listener, with the Citizens Bank poll question of the day. As we look at it right now, It's a Wonderful Life and The Grinch have a 16%, Bad Santa at 10%. Not enough of you have watched Bad Santa. That movie is hysterical. And Christmas Vacation kind of running away with things right now at 58%. You can go to 1045 ESPN's Twitter handle at 1045 ESPN and vote in our Citizens Bank poll question of the day. You're dictating how my evening goes. Now, my wife may have veto power over you. She certainly does over me. I haven't asked her feelings on the listenership yet. We'll just have to see. I'll report back on Monday. But the fate of my evening is in your hands. Go check that out on Twitter at 1045 ESPN. We come back. Huge news for LSU baseball last night. I'll tell you what that is and what I'm kind of observing as we move into year 2 of the Jay Johnson era. The way he recruits, the way he manages his roster in a new era of college baseball. That is it to close out hour number 1 here on a Friday. It's the Hunt Palmer Show.
This is Hunt Palmer. Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford has $10,000 off MSRP on a new 2022 Ford F-150, plus no payments for 90 days and 2.9% APR for 72 months. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories. It's Miller time.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want.
Jimmy Ott, 10 a.m. to noon every Sunday for Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday. We recap LSU and college football in the first hour, Rohan Davey, and then preview the NFL with punch of picks from 7 different contributing handicappers. That's Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
So, big news for Jay Johnson's baseball program last night as they secured the commitment of Connor Griffin, who Perfect Game ranks as the number 2 player in the nation for the class of 2024. These are current high school sophomores. That's kind of when this really heats up for baseball signees. And Connor Griffin's commitment to LSU is significant because he's an incredible player. He's got a fastball in the low 90s as a sophomore. He's a great hitter, can play shortstop or the outfield. He's probably an outfielder. But in addition to his ability, he joins Derek Curiel, the number 1 player in the nation, Cade Arambide, the number 5 player in the nation, catcher from Texas, and Landon Victorian, big right-hander from Lake Charles. 4 of the top 10 players in the country are committed to LSU. Now, in football, that's incredible. Unless you're in College Station. Sorry. I didn't mean that. But in football, that's incredible. And in baseball, it looks great on paper, but you realize, one, these guys could end up signing for millions of dollars and never come to campus. And 2, they're sophomores. Over the 2 years, it's all about projectability. Some people fill out, arm strength, Tommy John surgeries, injuries, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of uncertainty when you're 2 years out. But Jay Johnson has signed or has commitments from a ridiculous amount of high-end players, 4 of the top 10. And it tells me that we're in a different era of college baseball recruiting. And Jay Johnson's going to do this a little bit differently. I would have 6 years ago looked at 4 commitments in the top 10 player in the country and said, why the hell would you do that? That's going to get you in big trouble. Because you're not going to get any of these kids. And then you're going to have holes in your signing class that you haven't filled. And now you've got holes in your roster. That's not the case anymore. One, with the improvements in college baseball, it's a pretty nice way of life. Charter flights, playing on ESPN. Plus, you can make a little change with NIL. And anyone who wants to sit here and talk about how NIL can be competitive with the big leagues, it's not. When you're talking about the top 10 players in the country who are top 20 picks in the draft, who are signing for $3, $4, $5, $6, $8 million, there ain't no NIL for $2.9 million in Baton Rouge for a baseball player. That's not happening. Maybe Bryce Young. Not these kids. So that's not, yeah, you can get a little pocket change. They may be able to get you, $50K a year. I don't know what these numbers are, but that'd be great. But it's certainly not going to be anything comparable to what the Mets and Twins are paying out. But Jay Johnson's going to get as many of these kids in the boat as he can. And if you get 8 of these way high-profile kids and 2 or 3 of them show up, that's pretty good. And guess what? You're not crippled when those other 6, 7, 8 don't sign, because you can go backfill out of the transfer portal. Okay, I'll just go get Jacob Berry. He has to play college baseball. I'll go get Tommy White. He has to play college baseball. Thatcher Hurd, Christian Little. These guys want to come. Even to a smaller extent, Ben DePault. You bring him in as kind of a utility infielder to fill a roster spot. And you look at the class that he just signed, and yeah, you lost Justin Crawford, and yeah, you lost Tucker Toman. You lost Mikey Romero. You lost Robbie Snelling and Michael Kennedy. But you got through the cracks with Paxton Kling and Jaden Newt and Chase Shores and Brady Neal and Gavin Guidry. So it's different. You're not as crippled by missing out on these kids, and some of them are going to elect to show up. So it is a really big deal. It's awesome to know that your coach has put on a masterclass in roster management to this point, and it's a little bit of a different era. Dave Perno was Georgia's head baseball coach for years, 11 years. He went to 3 College World Series, but at the end, they were missing on these high-profile kids. They were spending time recruiting they were never going to get. And it ended up hurting him. This is not going to hurt you. You get these guys in. If you get 3 of them, 2 of them, Great. You got your high-end players. And then some guy at Wake Forest or UCLA may hit 21 homers, say, I'm out of here. I'm tired of playing in front of 300 people. I'm going to go play at the box. So I would have rolled my eyes at these commitments 5 years ago. I don't anymore. If you made me bet on whether or not Connor Griffin was going to play college baseball, I would say no. I don't think Derek Curiel will play college baseball. I don't think Cade Arambidi will play college baseball. I don't think Landon Victorian will play college baseball. But they might. I did not think there was any chance Chase Shores was playing college baseball. And up until close to the end of the draft, I didn't think Paxton Kling was either. Big, big deal. Jay Johnson continues to reel in a massive amount of talent, and it's very, very exciting. Push baseball back past the end of the year, but you know what's going to happen here. That was bound to happen. When we come back, we'll switch back to football. Get some thoughts on the Atlanta Falcons from Michael Rothstein of ESPN.com. 1 hour left in the work week. Come back with us after SportsCenter.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $10,000 off MSRP on all new 2022 Black Widow Jeep Gladiators in stock. All new Bayou vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty and free delivery. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Jets team doctors will not clear quarterback Mike White for Sunday's game against the Lions with fractured ribs. That means Zach Wilson will get the start after being inactive for the last 3 weeks. It's now bowl season. First up today, the Hometown Lenders Bahamas Bowl, UAB with the ball. Less than 2 minutes to play.
They'll run with Jermaine Brown Jr. in the backfield. Dylan Hopkins is in the shotgun. 2 tight ends coming near side left. Hopkins hands off Brown. Brown's going to waltz into the end zone for the touchdown. Jermaine Brown Jr., the 12-yard run, his second of the game. UAB's back in front.
Kevin Winter on ESPN Radio. Miami's last drive of the game stopped on the 2-yard line. UAB wins it 24-20. Right now on ESPN TV, 24th ranked Troy and number 25 UT San Antonio about to kick off in the Duluth Trading Cure Bowl. Pistons guard Cade Cunningham had surgery today for a stress fracture in his left leg. He's expected to make a full recovery, but will miss the rest of the season.
Coming up on Monday, the Packers still have an outside chance of making the playoffs, but will this be the last chance for Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay? We'll discuss that on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, Monday morning, 6 a.m. Eastern, ESPN Radio and ESPN2.
Now, Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour number 2 here on a Friday. Winding down another work week. Hope yours has gone great and you're just about to quitting time. Head out to the Jim's Firearms hotline now. Michael Rothstein covers the Atlanta Falcons for ESPN.com. Michael, thanks for the time. How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Doing very well. The Saints fans around here aren't doing so hot because they're looking at their first double-digit loss season since 2005 here, and they would get it if the Falcons come to New Orleans and win on Sunday. Falcons in a little bit of a different situation, obviously, than the Saints. No expectations coming in. A really nice start that's kind of unraveled here of late. What's been the difference of the last 5 weeks?
Oh, wow. How long do we have?
About 12 minutes.
No, I mean, in all seriousness, the reality is this. The offense just stopped working, and that's why you're going to see the debut of Desmond Ridder on Sunday, who's the quarterback. Marcus Mariota was very effective for a while in terms of being able to use his legs, which he was still effective with toward the end, and balancing that with play action and hitting some passes and keeping the offense moving. Then their offense basically just fell apart, more or less. They've scored more than 20 points once in the last 5 games.
Yeah.
And that was a win over Chicago, and Chicago's defense is very bad. They couldn't throw the ball at all. They haven't thrown for over 200 yards in a game since October. It just was not working anymore. Marcus Mariota was missing open receivers, whether it was missing them when he was throwing it to them, or just not seeing the open guy and throwing it to someone in coverage. Anyway, it just was basically falling apart, and it became time and fairly obvious for the Falcons to go a different direction, and that was see what they have in Desmond Ridder, who they drafted in the 3rd round out of Cincinnati.
All I've seen is the press conference from Arthur Smith, so I have no details. I'm hoping that you do. It appeared he was a little bit disappointed in the way that the transfer of quarterbacks went there, and then Marcus Mariota subsequently going on IR. Do you have the story there?
So it's complicated, right? Marcus Mariota said nothing. So he has not been around. He is scheduled to have surgery next week. So we don't have Marcus Mariota's version or side of this. And I can tell you that even privately, no one from Mariota's camp has at least responded to me. So the way that I understand it is this. They made the decision during the bye week to go from Mariota to Ritter. Mariota had his first kid on Monday. They told him Thursday morning they were going in a different direction. Mariota decided to have a chronic knee issue looked at either Friday or Saturday. That is not exactly clear exactly when he departed. He ends up having the knee looked at, and Arthur Smith talks on Monday, says, hey, he's probably putting him on IR. He's having his knee looked at, and then they put him on IR on Wednesday. Marcus Mariota was never listed on the injury report at any point in this season with a knee injury. Marcus Mariota has not been listed on any injury report since 2015 with a knee injury. Now, it was described as a chronic knee injury, and of course, listen, I've talked to some guys in the locker room. They all said, listen, even if Marcus Mariota is playing with something, and it's very possible he was, they also never heard him say anything about it, but he's also somebody who would never say anything about that regardless. He would just kind of keep playing. So my thing is this. No NFL player, no human is going to go under the knife if there's not something to get fixed, right? But these are also football players who they could probably put any body part in an MRI machine, and there's probably something that can get cleaned up,
Yeah.
So to me, I say it like this. If Marcus Mariota was still the starting quarterback of the Falcons, I don't think Marcus Mariota would be having the surgery next week. That's the best way to explain it, and you can infer into that, I think, what you will. And I don't want, I know in Atlanta, Marcus Mariota's been getting crushed. I'm more hesitant to do that because we have not heard Marcus Mariota's version or side of this yet, and I would want to know that at least somewhat before I were to go in full bore on him.
What do you think Marcus Mariota's future with the Falcons is?
What's sea level in New Orleans? It will be below that.
Okay.
I mean, no, it's just in all seriousness. I don't see them sticking with him, whether Desmond Ritter plays well or not. If they move on from him for 2023, they will get $12.5 million in cap savings. Now, they have a lot of cap room to begin with, but $12.5 million is still $12.5 million, especially for a guy that is clearly just not the guy in this offense. And he's not going to be the guy moving forward, because this move, to be very, very, very clear, this move was made because of performance, not because of any injury to Marcus Mariota. This decision was made before any sort of Mariota knee injury was popped up at all. This was made because Mariota was playing very poorly. That's why this decision was made. I can't see them I guess there's always a chance, you never say never type situation, but it would be infinitesimal in my eyes, the chances of them bringing back Marcus Mariota for 2023 at this point, especially on his current contract.
And to me, I look at this and I see the Falcons looking to try for something that may help them in the future. I think the Saints are doing the opposite. Their offense isn't exactly humming, and they refuse to put Jameis Winston out there, and they continue to go with Andy Dalton, who has no future as the franchise quarterback of the team. So that's interesting to me. What do you expect to see from Desmond Ritter?
I'm actually curious about this. Why would you say that Jameis Winston does have a future as a franchise quarterback?
Well, I don't know.
Based on what you've seen.
There is a ceiling there that's higher than Andy Dalton's. In my opinion, he's not going to be any good ever, but I would put him out there just because you have a chance. Andy Dalton gives you no chance in the future, is my opinion.
That's fair. That's completely fair. And to switch back to what you asked about the Falcons, Desmond Ritter, you'd like to see what you have. I don't think that this 4 games is going to absolutely end his career if it goes poorly. I think if it goes well, if you're the Falcons, you're like, okay, I can work with this. I can build with this. I don't have to worry about starting quarterback in free agency or during the draft. I can get a veteran backup. Maybe that backup ends up being Logan Woodside, who's his current backup now. Who knows? And you can go focus on other areas of need, of which they do have a lot. But if it does not necessarily go well, you have a decision to make then if you're Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot, which is, do you want to give Ritter more of an extended shot, or do you need to bring in real competition for him, whether, again, that's a veteran or a first-round pick? Because if this does not go well for Desmond Ritter and the Falcons over the last 4 weeks, you're probably picking in the top 10 again.
Yep. And I've asked this question. It's kind of been my question of the week as it pertains to the Saints. and I've asked 2 Saints beat writers and then 1 national NFL reporter, and I'll ask you as a Falcons beat writer. I look at the Saints, which have some salary cap issues, some older players, and quarterback nightmare, and a coach that seems over his skis. I've got the Panthers, who have fired their coach and have no quarterback. I got the Bucks, who are playing very poorly and have a 104-year-old quarterback. And you've got the Falcons, who have benched their quarterback and haven't won in a couple of years. If you had to bet on one team in the NFC South to win the most games starting in September of next year for 2 years, who would you take in the South?
Oh, I thought that was going to be a different question. I was ready to say, can I get a Brewster's Millions option for those who were born in like the 1970s and before, and say none of the above? But that's a really good question.
It's a bad division, and it all looks bad.
I think because so much can happen, right? Like, I would love to know how the coaching – before I answer that question, I'd love to know how the coaching situation in Carolina turns out. Because to me, I think you look at Carolina's roster, and if they can figure out even a semblance of decent quarterback play more than they have now, I really love what they have defensively. And I think they have playmakers on offense between DJ Moore. And listen, they made it work with the combination of Deontay Foreman and Chuba Hubbard, right?
Yep.
So I would say Carolina, figuring that they can at least get average quarterback play the next 2 years. Because I just think the Saints at some point are going to have to kind of do what Atlanta did this year and just bite a very tough situation and eat a lot of dead money and kind of mini blow it up, if not blow it up completely. Because at some point, the guys you're paying right now are going to be old enough that you need to reset, because you also just traded a bunch of your draft picks. So I don't know what you do if you're the Saints. The Falcons, I think, have a real chance, but we won't know that until after March, right? Because let's see what they do in free agency. Let's see what they do with the quarterback situation. If Desmond Ritter's good, then that gives them money to play with in free agency. You hit on a couple free agents. I'll tell you, they got they have the potential of a very good young core on offense and defense. And then Tampa, listen, their roster's great, but their roster's old.
Mm-hmm.
So, does Tom come back for another year? Well, maybe. I would say Carolina, but I would also say maybe it's Carolina and Atlanta. And then I think you're looking at 2 maybe rebuilding type situations in New Orleans and Tampa.
Yep, I asked that question 4 times. I got 2 Carolinas, 1 Atlanta, and 1 New Orleans. Nobody said Tampa. It's a division that has a lot of questions.
Let's be real, right? Look at Tampa's roster.
Yeah,
their quarterback, you have major quarterback questions beyond Tom.
Yep.
And then your receivers are great. Like, your receivers are maybe the best group in the NFL, but who knows who's throwing to them? Rashad White can play running back, but Lenny Fournette, how much longer can that go on? Your tight end position, we'll see. Your offensive line's a mess, and that's part of why you're bad right now. And your defense is getting much older. I have questions about the coaching in Tampa. I can't buy Tampa in the long term. No, I don't even know if I buy Tampa for the rest of this year.
I sure wouldn't, but it's fascinating. Michael, we really appreciate the time. Enjoy the football this weekend.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me. Anytime.
He is Michael Rothstein of ESPN.com, covering the Atlanta Falcons. It's just the division's a mess right now, quite frankly. That's just to put it kindly. That's just kind of the way it appears to me. When we come back, LSU will play some basketball tomorrow. Give you some thoughts on Winthrop. I tweeted this out earlier. I don't think Winthrop's going to win the national championship this year, but they will be in the PMAC at 6 o'clock tomorrow, so I'll get you ready for that one. It's the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
LWCC is Louisiana Loyal, elevating and celebrating champions of Louisiana. Like Mimosa Handcrafted, been telling you about them all month long. Mimosa Handcrafted, founded by Madeline Ellis, who was a landscape architect, and her husband, Dawson, said, hey, stop doing that. Go do what you want, what you're passionate about. What she's passionate about is Mimosa Handcrafted and creating wonderful jewelry. And look, they just opened their first brick and mortar at 541 South Eugene, right next to Red Stick Reeds. It's right in time for your holiday shopping. And the reason why Mimosa Handcrafted is a champion of Louisiana is because they donate 1% of every sale through Goods for Good. It's a campaign that allows customers to select from some charitable causes like the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, the Mental Health Association for Greater Baton Rouge. And so you're one, if you're Madeline Ellis, doing what you're passionate about, and 2, helping great causes here in our great state. Madeline Ellis, truly a champion of Louisiana Mimosa, handcrafted a champion of Louisiana. If you know a champion of Louisiana, go to lwcc.com/Louisiana Loyal or /champion, lwcc.com/champions, and nominate someone to be a champion of Louisiana so we can tell their story as we have Mimosa handcrafted all month long. Mimosa handcrafted, champion of Louisiana. LWCC is Louisiana Loyal.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
3 people walk into a bar. The first 2 order the same old margs. The third, Nuevo Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer. Crafted with real lime juice and a crisp tequila flavor. Topo Chico Margarita Hard Seltzer.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
A third of youth who grow up in foster care are homeless 18 months after aging out of care. But you can rewrite that story. Children and youth with CASA and GAL volunteers are more likely to find safe, permanent homes. Change a child's story. Become a volunteer today.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
For a special NFL triple header this Saturday. The Vikings host the Colts at noon, then the Browns host the Ravens at 3:30, followed by the Bills and the Dolphins at 7:15 p.m. Then on Sunday, the Jets host the Lions at noon, all on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You're listening to Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Some interesting transfer portal news that I just saw today on Twitter. Jalen Catalon, team captain for Arkansas, been a starting safety up there for a couple of years, has entered the transfer or is entering the transfer portal based on all the reports. I hope Greg Brooks and Joe Fouché still have his number because I would take that guy. LSU's secondary numbers are not great, and Jalen Catalon is an all-conference type safety. And if he enters the transfer portal, come on down. I'm all for it. No idea if he has any interest in LSU, but we just got 2 guys from Arkansas who play in the secondary. I think they know him. They had some fun this year. Wouldn't mind them giving him a call. So we'll see. Jalen Catalon does enter the transfer portal. LSU basketball tomorrow, 6 o'clock tip-off inside the PMAC. That means at 5:30 You can catch the broadcast over on Eagle 98.1 here in Baton Rouge or on the LSU Sports Radio Network, wherever you may have that affiliate. Chris Blair and John Brady will be on the call. They'll play the Winthrop Eagles in another game against a team that's not very good, quite frankly. Winthrop is 5-6 on the year. They've beaten the outstanding programs that are Piedmont, Taka Falls. I never even heard of that. Not Taco Fall. Taka Falls. Something. Must be a college. South Carolina State, Eastern Michigan, Middle Tennessee. They lost to Penn State by 25. They lost to Auburn by 24. They lost to Mercer. They lost to Southern Miss by 25. They lost to Furman by 15. They're not good. They've got no size, essentially. It's a team that's going to start 3 quote-unquote forwards who are 6'7", and that's the extent of their size. And because of that, they've got some issues around the bucket. Auburn beat them on the glass 53-33. Johnny Broom, who is Auburn's center, had 18 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 blocks in 20 minutes. That's half a game. He had 18 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 blocks. KJ Williams ought to go nuts on this team. It just doesn't have any size. Because they don't have much size, they get a lot of shots blocked. They're 352nd in the country in opponents' blocks per game. There are only 11 teams in the country who get more shots blocked than Winthrop. They also turn the ball over an alarming amount. They're 336 in the country in turnovers per possession. There are only 26 teams who turn it over more frequently than the Winthrop Eagles. So, not tall and turn it over a lot. That's a good recipe for Furman to beat you by 15 points and Southern Miss to beat you by 25. Quite frankly. You look at their starting lineup, they've got a guard named Sincere McMahon. You won't forget that one. Sincere, pretty memorable name, and Matt McMahon's the basketball coach. So Sincere McMahon. He scored 24 points at Mercer. He's got 4 20-point games this year. He shoots 42% from 3, and he's an 87% free throw shooter. So their point guard, Sincere McMahon, is a good player. And then Kelton Talford is their biggest player. He's 6'7", and he scores 18 points per game. He scored 28 on South Carolina State. He basically does everything around the basket. He shoots 76% from the floor. So somebody needs to take him away, and you shouldn't have too many issues. But I'm not all that concerned with Winthrop. Yeah, they turn it over a ton. Yeah, they're short. They get a ton of shots blocked. They've lost by 1 million. They got a pretty good point guard who can shoot the 3, and Kelton Talford down there on the block shoots almost 80%. Gotcha. Don't care. I want LSU to play a solid game. I want LSU to play a complete game. And I want LSU to go at this team around the basket. I want KJ Williams to score a lot. And quite frankly, I would love to see something from Jalen Reed. Jalen Reed is 6'10", can dribble, has pretty soft hands. There's no reason he cannot have an impact on this game. Maybe he doesn't have an impact until there are 12 minutes to go in the game and LSU's up 21 and Matt McMahon's comfortable putting him in there. I don't care when it is. I don't care if it's mop-up duty. Just show me something. Some of these young players for LSU are going to have to come through and do something. Tyrell Ward doesn't really play. Jalen Reed's role has been minimized a little bit as you've seen kind of an emergence from Derek Fountain. And man, you'd really like some of your young players to grow up a little bit, and this is the time of the calendar to do it because you're about to start playing really good teams every game. So I don't need Jalen Reed to start the game and go for 28 and 16. I just like to see him out there against a smaller team, use his size, use his skill level, and score a little bit. I mean, it's kind of impressive when you watch him in pregame warmups and even in the time he's gotten into games, moving the ball up the floor. Like there's not that many 6'10" guys that look like that bouncing the ball. We'll see. And of course, something you'd really like to see. I'm not concerned about it. We talked about it on yesterday's show. My concern level is 0. Matt McMahon's concern level is 0. That's where it should be. But Adam Miller's been ice cold for 2 games. Need to see a couple go in. Maybe you drive to the bucket, draw a foul, and see a couple free throws go in. Maybe it's just a fast break, run-out dunk that gets you moving and into the flow of the game. Or maybe you come off a pin-down screen and just square up and knock one down in the first 3 minutes of the game, and that gets your blood flowing. But he needs to make some jump shots because if he is ice cold, LSU's offense is in a world of hurt. And there's no reason to be in a world of hurt against this team with limited size that can't beat anybody, except Taco Falls. Never heard of it. Every once in a while, when you see these basketball teams, they play a team, you go, never heard of them. I can't promise you I've heard of Piedmont either, but don't worry, Winthrop took it to them. Look, 6 o'clock tip-off tomorrow. Go to the glass, win the rebounding battle, defend the three-point line, and let's see some of the bigs go to work against a lesser team. Look, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be very, it's hard to come up with a lot of storylines with this non-conference schedule, and I don't think you're going to see another non-conference schedule that looks like this in the Matt McMahon era. Kim Mulkey's beating teams by 1,000 over there with her team. Matt McMahon's playing teams no one's ever heard of. I get it. It's not the most exciting brand of basketball we've ever seen before Christmas in Baton Rouge, and that continues tomorrow, quite frankly. But if you're listening, and if you don't have much to do this weekend, get out there and support them. The crowds have not been very good. It's understandable. The team hasn't been great. The opponents have been brutal. You were in the middle of a big football season. It's not time to lock into basketball around here. I get all the things that are LSU basketball, but tickets are cheap. You can get them, I promise. And let's see if we can get a decent Saturday night crowd inside the PMAC for these guys who are 9-1, and the one loss was a little controversial. So hopefully they can draw a decent crowd over there at the Assembly Center for tomorrow's action. I want to remind you to check out dropbiscuit.com, browse that growing library. While you're there, you can subscribe to Pops, Fame, You Talking to Me, For the People, Well Stated, whatever Southern flavored audio biscuit you might fancy. That's over at dropbiscuit.com. Reminder, I'm going to be at Rouse's Burbank and Lee starting in 35 minutes from right now. I'll be there at 3 o'clock. We got some gift cards. We've got some pins. We've got some candy. And we got me. What a draw with this ridiculous sweatshirt I'm wearing that's neon yellow. Just come on by Rouse's Burbank and Lee. Get your weekend groceries over there and come hang out. Got a wheel to spin and just talking some sports. If you want to do that, always enjoy Friday afternoons, and it's a nice one. So we'll be set up right outside the Rouse's Burbank and Lee. When we come back, a few things we got to knock out. One, what Christmas movie am I watching tonight? Y'all are in charge of that. It's on Twitter at 1045ESPN. It's the Citizens Bank poll question of the day. And you're in charge of the rest of my evening. So we're going to get the results of that when we come back. And there was a ruling today that is really important for one LSU Tiger, and that's Quincy Wiggins. I will tell you exactly what that is and why it's such a big deal next on the Hunt Palmer Show.
Hunt Palmer on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
One Bath and Closets. Love telling you about David Duvall and his team over at One Bath and Closets. He's your one-stop shop. He handles it all. They're licensed contractors. You don't have to call a floor person, a plumber, somebody to deal with the tile, somebody to deal with the paint. David Duvall and his crew have got it all when it comes to your bathrooms. Tub-to-shower conversions have been so popular for David over at One Bath and Closets. Take that tub out of your bathroom, put in a gorgeous glass walk-in shower. How much better is your living situation if you can do that? Go to onebathandclosets.com and check out the work that they do. The pictures are right there. The testimonials are right there as well. And I'm here to tell you about the closets that they will do. If you're like me and your closet's a nightmare, you've got ties all over the place, shoes all over the place, suits crammed into corners, let David Duvall and his crew come in there and help you out. And what he'll do right now, if you go over to One Bath and Closets and tell him that the Hunt Palmer Show, 1045 ESPN sent you, no labor. He will not charge you for labor. He will not charge you for ripping out your current closet, will not charge you for the time it takes to put the new unit in. You just have to pay for the new closet, pay for that unit. Some significant savings over there at One Bath and Closets. Check out the website, onebathandclosets.com, and check out David Duvall and his team. I can promise you this. They'll do it right the first time and leave the competition behind. One Bath and Closets, onebathandclosets.com.
Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Every business is different. But B1 Bank knows that every business owner has similar needs. From streamlining accounts receivables to maintaining access to working capital, a trusted bank is your best asset for staying on top of day-to-day finances and planning for future business growth. At B1 Bank, I know I have access to commercial banking experts who care about the needs of my business and can guide me to accomplish my goals. B1 Bank knows that managing your business isn't simple, but they can help you make it uncomplicated.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a...
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Friday's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. The band's back together. The Riot Radio hours finally return. We'll preview Saints, Falcons. Join us 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
So the big news of college football today, and this is a tweet that I'm reading from Cole Kubelik, who has joined Matt weekly and obviously does sidelines for the SC Network, also does morning radio over in JOX in Alabama. Tweets out, the NCAA has issued a one-time blanket waiver in FBS football to exempt postseason participation from the limit of 4 contests a student-athlete may participate in without using a season of competition. The blanket waiver is applicable to FBS postseason games that occur after December 15th, which, of course, is yesterday. That is a big word salad to say you can play a 5th game in the bowl game this year and it doesn't count. So I was like, all right, well, let me go look at LSU's roster. Who does this free up? Because I remember Brian Kelly talking about multiple players in press conference say, yeah, he's played 4 games, but we're going to sit him the rest of the way. And Derek Davis was one of them. He's into the transfer portal, and he's out. The only player, it appears to me, that has played exactly 4 games and is planning on coming back and is not in the transfer portal is Quincy Wiggins. So that's a big deal to me in terms of entertainment value in this bowl game. Purdue's probably going to throw it a lot. That's what they do. Now they're missing their leading receiver and their leading tight end and their starting quarterback. But I want to see Quincy Wiggins play, and he wasn't going to be able to play. And now he can because he's played in 4 games. This one doesn't count. He can keep his red shirt and play. I have looked over LSU's stat sheet. Chris Hilton has played in only 4 games, but, of course, he's hurt and out for the year. I think that's it. So I want to see Quincy Wiggins play because, quite frankly, when we talk about this LSU football team next August, Quincy Wiggins is going to be a guy that we talk about a lot because you're going to be replacing Ojulari, you're going to be replacing Gay, and you need to solidify that edge. And Savion Jones is a guy they look to, and you look for some guys in the transfer portal that they've got, circled. But Wiggins is already here. Big-time recruit. Not a ton of production this year. You look at his stat sheet for the year, he has made 1 tackle. So he's raw, new to football. We know the story, but the physical gifts are there. I can't wait to get him out there. Hopefully, one of the things that I noticed in the video they released from their first day of practice earlier this week was that Quincy Wiggins was in there and was rushing the passer in one of the drills. And I was asked on a Shreveport radio hit that I do every single week on Wednesday nights, is there anybody that they would be giving a look to in practice before they get ready to ramp up Purdue prep? We got these 15 practices. We don't need 15 practices to get ready for Purdue. Maybe we'll give some guys a look. And I said, well, one of the guys that I saw in the video was Quincy Wiggins, who's been shut down for 3-4 weeks. So, big deal. If you're just jumping in your car and not sure what I'm talking about, the NCAA has determined that you can play another game and it doesn't count against your redshirt. So if you've played 4, you can add the bowl game. And so Quincy Wiggins, the only guy on LSU's roster that I can tell who qualifies there. So great news for him. Get that helmet shined up, get the jersey ready to go, and let's see Quincy Wiggins play against Purdue in the bowl game. I wanted to get to a big day in college, a big weekend in college basketball here as far as the SEC goes. Earlier this week, I was talking about I gave my power rankings on Wednesday for the SEC teams. I think there's probably a lot of people in this market that haven't watched a ton of SEC basketball this far. You're not going to lock in when Ole Miss is playing, Rice or whoever they play on a Wednesday night at 8 p.m. on the SEC network. Just not something you're going to flock to all that often. But there is some really good SEC basketball to watch this weekend, and it starts on Saturday. Noon game. Alabama's been awesome this year. They beat number 1 Houston on the road. They beat Memphis earlier this week. They beat North Carolina earlier this year. And they're headed, they're going to Birmingham to play Gonzaga. Now, Zags have lost 3 games, but we know they play a ridiculous schedule early in the season. And it's still a pretty good Gonzaga team. Alabama will have their chance in Birmingham over at the Legacy Arena to play Gonzaga. That's a noon game over on CBS. Also of interest as far as SEC basketball goes, Kentucky headed up to the Garden. They will play UCLA, who is ranked. That's a top 16 matchup because UCLA is 16th, Kentucky is 13th. So big matchup there up in the Garden. Kentucky gets up there a good bit. Texas A&M is playing Memphis, who's really just doing a tour of the SEC at this point. They're playing just about every Southeastern Conference team they can get their hands on. So Texas A&M will play Memphis. That game is in FedEx Forum up in Memphis at 6 o'clock on ESPNU. And then I think the biggest game of them all, and one I cannot wait to get my eyes on tomorrow because it's a late game and I'll get the TV to myself at that point, a 9:30 tip-off on ESPN2 between Tennessee and Arizona. This is a game that Arizona won in Arizona won. Tennessee beat them in Knoxville last year. Now they'll return the trip out to Tucson. And that should be an awesome game. Arizona is 9-1, and Tennessee is 9-1 as well. If you haven't paid attention to Tennessee and you missed my power rankings earlier this week, they are putting teams in a vice grip defensively. Held Maryland to 53, held Kansas to 50, held USC to 66, held Butler to 45. They've been awesome defensively. Rick Barnes has continued to cycle in some really good players. Still got Santiago Vescovi, still got Josiah Jordan-James. Then you've got Julian Phillips, who was a commitment of LSU's for a long time under Will Wade. So he's a ridiculous athlete with some size and some length. And the last one, which I don't think is going to get too many people fired up around here, is Vanderbilt is headed to Chicago to play NC State. They've really struggled. I gave my power rankings out earlier this week, and Vanderbilt was 14th. They lost to Grambling a week ago tonight. So that's a team that has not played very well. My picks in these games, I like Alabama to beat Gonzaga. I think Alabama is the best team in the league right now. They shoot it pretty well from the three. You know what Nate Oates' philosophy is on taking threes and on getting to the bucket and shooting free throws, and they defend. I mean, that's I think an underrated thing of Nate Oates' teams. They play good defense, and even though you lost Herb Jones to the Pels, and even though you've had some really good backcourt guys move on, they still defend, and they are efficient enough on the offensive end that they win a lot of games. And it never truly came together last year, but I think this year's team has got it rolling, and they've got high-profile wins to hang their hat on. So I think they beat Gonzaga over in Birmingham. As far as the UCLA-Kentucky game, I still like the makeup of this Kentucky team. They did get beat by Michigan State. Gonzaga smacked them pretty good, but they did beat Michigan. And I think this team's got a chance to shoot it a little bit better than Calipari's teams have in the past. Wheeler's never going to be a great shooter as a primary ball handler, but they've got some other guys that can. And then Sheboy is just you turn on these Kentucky games, he gets every rebound. I don't understand it. It's not like he's some sort of freak athlete that flies off the floor. He's not 7'3". He just has a knack for rebounding, specifically on the offensive end. And this year, once again, he's averaging 13.5 rebounds per game. So he's a handful. I like Kentucky to go up there. There should be a massive Kentucky contingent up there in NYC. So I like Kentucky to win that game. I do like Memphis to beat A&M. I'm just not high on this A&M team. It's just not one that I think is all that good. Everybody was kind of high on them earlier. And I like Arizona to beat Tennessee. I do. I love Tennessee's defense. They're a top 10 team in the country. They're 6th in the country, but I think Arizona does have the firepower to beat them. So I'll take the Cats in that one. All right, time to look at the Citizens Bank poll question of the day. You are in charge of my evening tonight. The wife told me I could pick a Christmas movie, but that she had veto power. So we'll see. I'll bring it up. She'll probably veto it just because that's the way things work. But if I say that it's the listeners, they picked, maybe, she'll go with you guys. She certainly doesn't go with me all that often. So we gave you 4 choices for the Christmas movie I should watch tonight after we get the red beans cooked. It's a Wonderful Life, The Grinch, Christmas Vacation, and Bad Santa. I'll be honest with you. My initial thought was that I wanted to watch It's a Wonderful Life, but I like all 4, so you really can't go wrong. Last place, The Grinch. Nobody was giving The Grinch love there. Got 14% of the vote. Then you had a tie for second place between It's a Wonderful Life and Bad Santa at right around 16% of the vote. But Christmas Vacation ran away with it. 53% of the vote. Listen, I'm not going to be mad about watching Christmas Vacation. It's a little longer than a couple of those movies. Chevy Chase is unbelievable in those movies, and there's like one-liners. It's as quotable a movie as there is. I think everybody who's listening has watched Christmas Vacation. Everybody will probably watch it at some point over the next couple of weeks. I think it sounds like that's going to be the pick. My gut tells me that it'll get vetoed, but potentially, she could go with it because y'all are the listenership. But I can't swear by that. I will report back on Monday what the findings are, but I can't swear that you're gonna trump things. Essentially, whatever she wants is going to happen. I think there are a lot of people listening that's kind of the case under your house as well. It certainly is the case under mine. I want to remind you that I will be at Rouse's, Burbank and Lee from 3 to 5, giving out gift cards, giving out pins, shirts. You can spin the wheel. They got candy up there as well if you're looking to get your weekend shopping done, whether you've got a party you're hosting or you're just hanging in. Great gumbo weather. So I can't wait to get over to Rouse's. It's always fun, and it's a nice day out here in the capital city. So very much looking forward to getting out to Rouse's, Burbank and Lee. So come back with us. We will take one more time out, come back and wrap things up here on a Friday. Come back with us. You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
One of the things I love about betting on the NFL is that I'm always finding new players or game props that I like. And what's cool about the FanDuel Sportsbook, you can combine those props with other bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout. Perfect for this weekend's football. Bet on quarterbacks, passing yards, running backs score touchdowns, over-unders, or, of course, on the point spread. App's so easy to use. You can live bet during games. And the best part, when you win, you can get paid very, very fast. There's no feeling quite like nailing a same-game parlay, so lock in your bet today on the FanDuel Sportsbook. If you're new to FanDuel, sign up today with the promo code 1045ESPN for your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's promo code 1045ESPN. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit is required. Bonus issued is knowledgeable free bet that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you're someone who has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit.
We get it done with passion for our fans
and love for our community. We are the Tigers. We get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
Nearly half of children in foster care drop out of school. But you can rewrite that story. Change a child's story. Become a volunteer today.
Winter can be magical. The Mercedes-Benz Winter Event is here, and there's no better time to check out our new Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge inventory. We have the vehicles that can make your holiday extraordinary. See all the latest technological features on the newest models during our Mercedes-Benz Winter Event. Shop our best of the best award-winning dealership. Visit mbobr.com.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is.
Jimmy on 10 a.m. to noon every Sunday for Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday. We recap LSU and college football in the first hour, Rohan Davey, and then preview the NFL with punch of picks from 7 different contributing handicappers. That's Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
You're listening to Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, closing up shop here on a Friday edition. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Hope your week has gone great. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Of course, there's only one thing left to do. Well, a couple things left to do. I got to go to Rouse's here. So if you're looking for something to do this afternoon or you're picking up your groceries, come on by Rouse's. I'll be there from 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Going to have some gift cards there for you. Got some other things to give away. Come spin the wheel. Might get the pin. Might get some clip for an iPhone. We got fun stuff. We can just talk about football if you want to do that, or baseball or basketball. Always a fun time out there at Rouse's, Burbank and Lee. I'll be there from 3 to 5 this afternoon. But before we get on down the road, let's go ahead and play some Take It or Leave It, Taylor Sharp.
Yeah, let's do it. The Yankees signed Carlos Rodon to a 6-year, $162 million deal. Cole, Rodon, Nestor Cortez, Luis Severino is the best playoff rotation in the MLB. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it, I think.
I'll take it.
I don't love Garrett Cole. I do think Rodon's awesome. Cortez was great this year, and Severino's got good stuff, especially for a number 4. So, while there might be some teams that feel better about their 1-2, I think as far as depth goes, that's pretty good. The Yankees kind of accomplished what they needed to in this offseason. They went and got Aaron Judge, spent the money to get it done and bring him back, and then you go get a big-time arm. So they don't care about anything there except championships. I think that's a really good thing. They spent a lot of money this year. I think that's a good ball club they've got up there in the Bronx. So I don't care about the American League. But, yeah, I'll take that as the top rotation in baseball.
Red beans and rice. Take it or leave it.
I think there are some people that are very passionate about this. I'm not, but I will take it. I've got some red beans soaking in the fridge right now. Going to cook those up this evening and let them sit overnight and serve them tomorrow for dinner. Apparently, that's how you have to do it. I tried this for the first time ever a couple of months ago and cooked them and then just ate them right away. And they were okay, but not great. And apparently, you're supposed to wait another day. Look, I'm from North Louisiana. I don't do the Monday red beans and rice thing like a lot of you people do. I like red beans and rice. You're going to need to have some really good sausage in there, which I will tomorrow evening. So I'll take red beans and rice, but I'm not like a staunch defender of the Monday red beans and rice thing like some.
Well, as we all know, you are a massive soccer fan, so good thing we threw this one in here.
Yeah.
Lionel Messi will finally get his World Cup on Sunday. Take it or leave it.
Okay, here's all I know about this World Cup final. I invited one of our sales staff, Chris Brooks, to go play golf on Sunday. He bailed for soccer. This is unacceptable behavior in America. We're not even in this game. Argentina, France, who cares? Brooks is out gallivanting playing golf. I mean, not playing golf. I'm trying to gallivant and play some golf. He's watching soccer. This is garbage. I don't care if Messi gets his World Cup. I'm not watching it. I'll leave it. I think France will probably win. Can't name one player on their team. That's all right. We'll see.
All right, moving from your favorite sport to your second, here's the Chicago Cubs for you. The Cubs signed Brad Boxberger yesterday. Take it or leave it.
Jeez. I'd honestly rather a box of burgers, if we're being honest, than Brad Boxberger. This is what I put on Twitter the other day. There's a show of The Bachelor going on right now for Carlos Correa and some of the huge names in the sport. You know, you're looking for Trey Turner. Now Dansby Swanson's available. These are the prize jewels of the offseason, and the Cubs are signing Brad Boxberger. It's just very sad. I feel like some of you that listen relish in my misery and my pain. It's real. This Cubs offseason stinks right now unless they go get a shortstop. Brad Boxberger can't play shortstop. I'd rather, once again, have a box of burgers. I'll leave Brad Boxberger. Thank you.
All right, one last one here on this Friday. The NBA fined the Brooklyn Nets $25,000 for sitting 8 players back on December 10th, included in the rest were stars Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Ben Simmons, if you consider him a star.
Yeah, I was about to say he's a star.
Fining teams for sitting players. Take it or leave it.
I'm leaving this. I get it. Like, I understand that the NBA thinks it's a significant problem that the television networks are broadcasting games and people are buying tickets and the people they're going to see are not playing. I understand that issue. But the fact of the matter is that as a fan of a team, all I care about is winning a championship. And if we feel like these guys, none of which are 22 years old anymore, are going to be a little healthier to go in the summer to try to win a championship, I'm all for it. But it's not like that for some people. Some people are just in it for the entertainment value. I get it, and I understand that can create a massive problem for some. It doesn't for me, the consumer. Oh, well, I bought a ticket to watch the Lakers and LeBron sat. Stinks, but it's what you got to do. I don't know how they fix it. $25K ain't going to do it, though. Kevin Durant sneezes. $25,000, much less the Nets ownership. So $25K ain't going to get it. But, you know, it is what it is. I don't have that big an issue. That's take it or leave it here on a Friday edition. If you missed any of the show, you can catch it on demand, 1045ESPN.com. Check the on-demand tab right there. Find the Hunt Palmer Show. Anything that you missed throughout the week, certainly today. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Those of you hanging out in the YouTube chat, throw us a like. We certainly appreciate that. Any the way that you find your audio, if you could like, subscribe, rate, review, that always helps us out a ton. Today's show, we got off to Do a quick start talking about LSU's recruiting weekend and how they're going to rebuild this defense for next season. Talk Saints and Falcons in the first hour as well. We always go through our NFL tiers list. Look, big-time football this weekend in the National Football League. Starts on Saturday because college is toast, and into Sunday. It's going to be a lot of important football. We went through the schedule game by game. Big LSU baseball commitment yesterday that we talked about at the end of hour number one, and Jay Johnson's kind of philosophy on reeling in these huge fish. Michael Rothstein from ESPN.com, good enough to join us to talk Falcons and Saints at 2 o'clock. I gave you my LSU Winthrop basketball preview. Tigers on the hardwood at 6 o'clock tomorrow inside the PMAC. Pregame on Eagle 98.1 at 5:30. And then a big weekend in SEC basketball, which we touched on at 2:30. So go back and catch it on demand if you wish. I'll be out at Rouse's from 3 to 5. Come on by. Rouse's, Burbank, and Lee. Get your groceries for the weekend. Gumbo weather for sure. And I'll be out front giving away some gift cards, just hanging out, talking some sports on a lovely Friday here in the capital city. We'll be back Monday. Very much looking forward to that. Y'all have a great weekend. Hope to see you at Rouse's. If not, see you Monday on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
There it is, the